Hello, good evening, dear viewers. Presenting you the latest domestic and international news from our headquarters of Asmara is me, Hermela Girmay, inviting you to join us on our tonight's news broadcast. Let's start with the major headlines. President Isaias met with special envoy of UN on Sudan. Eritrean delegation participating at United Nations Climate Change Conference. Iran-Iraq discussion implementation of joint security agreement. And Russia's Shoigu meets China's Wang Yi in Beijing. On our domestic news, President Isaias Afwerki met today at the Denden Guest House United Nations Security General's envoy for the Sudan, Mr. Ramtane Lamamra, for extensive discussions on regional developments and especially the conflict in the Sudan. President Isaias illustrated in greater detail Eritrea's perspectives on the resolution of the conflict in the Sudan, anchored on Sudanese own efforts that is not encumbered by external interferences and that is rooted on the roadmap that guarantees veritable peace. This path would ensure Sudan's sovereignty and territorial integrity, as well as restore Sudan's rightful place in the global community of nations, President Isaias underlined. Mr. Lamamra, for his part, stated that the primary purpose of his consultative visit to Eritrea was to exchange and solicit views on ways and means of expediting an enduring solution to the conflict in the Sudan by bringing the two warring sides to the negotiating table. In this perspective, Mr. Lamamra expressed appreciation for Eritrea's perspectives and assessment on the multiple parameters and variables that impact on the Sudan peace process, the external interferences that have exacerbated the conflict, as well as important approaches for securing an agreement between the two sides. The meeting was attended by Mr. Osman Saleh, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and representatives of United Nations offices in Eritrea. Eritrean delegation led by Mr. Tesfaye Gebreselassie, Minister of Land, Water and Environment, is participating at the 29th United Nations Climate Change Conference, which is being held in Baku, Azerbaijan, from 11th to 22nd November. In his opening speech, the chairman of the 28th Climate Change Conference urged all member countries to use the two-week conference to develop viable and practical resolutions. The chairman of the 29th conference, the Minister of Ecology and Natural Resources of Azerbaijan, emphasized the devastating consequences of climate change and stressed that merely passing resolutions on paper and expressing sympathy would not solve the crisis the world is facing. Mr. Simon Steele, United Nations Climate Change Executive Secretary, underscored the importance of channeling technological and financial resources to combat climate change instead of wasting time on minor issues. The conference is expected to discuss agreements on a new collective qualified goal for climate finance, strategies for reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and adaptation measures to address climate change, among other topics. The Education Office in Massawa Subzone, in collaboration with the Massawa Municipality, have recognized and awarded outstanding students who excelled in the national examinations for the 2023 and 2024 academic year. The awardees included 56 outstanding students that scored from 3 to 4 GPA in the National School Leaving Examination, and students that covered over 75 points in 8th grade national examination. At the ceremony organized at the Massawa Stadium, Mr. Ismail Hassan Saleh, head of schools in the subzone, said that the award is being provided for the first time in continuation of the program to encourage outstanding students. Noting the number of outstanding students in both genders is increasing from time to time, Mr. Ismail said that the program will have significant contribution in motivating students for better work in their educational career. Mr. Rashid Mohammed Usman, head of the Educational Office in the Northern region, also remarked that recognizing outstanding students plays a crucial role in the development of the teaching and learning process. He urged the awardees to work even harder in the future studies and inspire their peers. Viewers, stay tuned for our international news right after the short break. Welcome back. Iranian Foreign Minister Said Abbas Araghchi and Iraqi National Security Advisor Qasim al-Araghchi have highlighted the necessity to fully implement a border security agreement signed between the two countries in March last year, according to a statement released by an Iranian Foreign Minister today. In a meeting in the Iranian capital Tehran yesterday, Araghchi pointed to the very good relations between Tehran and Baghdad in all areas, describing the bilateral security cooperation as very important in their ties. The Iranian Foreign Minister hoped that by fully implementing the security agreement, the two countries would ensure sustainable security along the common border. The Iraqi National Security Advisor, for his part, presented a report on the progress of the security agreement's implementation, underlining the Iraqi government's determination and implement the agreement completely. The two sides also discussed the latest developments in Gaza and Lebanon and called for the immediate stop of Israel's war crimes in the West Asia region and send humanitarian aid to the displaced Palestinian and Lebanese peoples. On our final international news, Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu meets Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in Beijing today. Russia's former defense minister Shoigu described the relationship between Moscow and Beijing as today's example of cooperation between two countries. He noted during his meeting with the Chinese foreign minister that Russia and China ties are not a military political alliance like the ones formed during the Cold War, but are superior to those forms of interstate relations. It is to be recalled that China's Xi Jinping and Putin in May this year plunged a new era of partnership. Dear viewers, we are done with the news prepared for this session, and now a recap of the major headlines. President Isaias met with special envoy of UN on Sudan. Eritrean delegation participating at UN Climate Change Conference. Iran-Iraq discuss implementation of joint security agreement. And Russia's Shoigu meets China's Wang Yi in Beijing. Dear viewers, that was all for tonight. Thank you for joining us and have a blessed night.